Okay, so by now you have received your Knorts Coconut Bikini Bottom Do-It-Yourself Kit. These are the pieces that you should see. You have the waist tie, and you have 2 leg hole pieces. So 1, 2, they're exactly the same. So there's that. You should also see a needle with the enlarged hole. And then I only have a little bit here, but you should also have a bunch of yarn. So, to get started here, we want you to first notice the difference between this section and this section. It's going to be the inseam of the short, the part that goes from the crotch down to the end. And you'll notice that it's much shorter here than it is here. So this will be like the part that goes around the butt, and this will be the front part. Okay, so let's get started here with the first step. We're going to embroider together the first leg hole. So what I did here is I just folded the piece in half, and I matched the ends here, because this is the section that's going to be embroidered right now. It's otherwise going to be the inseam of this pair of shorts. And also, just so you know, you can do this with either this side facing outward or this side. Doesn't matter. This side is typically what in the knitting world is faced on the outside, but I like what this looks like. So for this pair, I'm going to put this side facing outward. Just here's a little close up. It looks like the stitches are going horizontally versus this side. It looks like they're going vertically. Okay, so now that we've matched this, what you kind of want to do so that we can start the embroidery is a move like that, basically. So we still want these matched. So you should have them sitting like this. And then I have threaded the needle, and I've tied a knot at the end. So I'm going to insert the first stitch here, about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge. Just pull it through. And you want the needle to go through the back side so that you don't see the ugly knot when you're wearing the garment. And then, now that I've pulled that through, I'm going to insert it up and over diagonally here. And this is, I have, coined the stitch name as the Knorts cross stitch, because I do not know the technical term for it. I don't even know if there is one, because I kind of just made it up on my own, out of my own head. So you see there, I made the first part of the stitch there, but I want to make sure that this knot here is secure. So what I'm going to do is take the needle and run it through that stitch so that we have a bit of a knot going on here. It looks funky right now, but once we finish this whole stitch, you won't know the difference. So just kind of try to pull it tight and then we'll poke it here through the bottom, and there, it's pretty secure. It's diagonal. So the first stitch is always kind of funny to do because the pieces are very loosey-goosey. Anyway, so I'll poke the needle through the opposite side, pull it through, and then I'm going to go up and over to finish off this cross stitch. Cool, so there's your first stitch. But we'll continue here. So when you do the next step or the next stitch, you want to look underneath, and wherever the yarn is coming out, you want to go to the opposite stitch and poke it through so that all of the stitches will look connected. You'll see what I'm talking about when we finish this. Okay, so now we want to go up and over and try to match it with the stitch below. Okay, so now we'll do this again where we come underneath. Oops, over here. You see that? The needle is coming through that hole. And then we'll go up and over. Cool. So we have the first two stitches here. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to stitch it all the way to the top. And I'm also going to do it on the second leg hole, and then we will reconvene and move forward. Okay, so we have the first piece done, and now we have the second piece also done. So, next step is to put these two pieces together. Oops. See? So these should be matching, and these should be matching. And then what we're going to do is embroider from here to here, and then from here to here. So what I'm going to be doing here is embroidering all the way almost to the tippy top. This is called the rise. This is called the inseam. So I'm going to stitch the rise. So I'm going to come through the inside here, make my first stitch. My first stitch like that. Oops, kind of pulled that a little tight. And then we'll come down here diagonally, if that makes any sense to you, like that. And I'm going to want to secure this knot again, so I'm going to stick my needle through that and pull it tight so that when I wear this garment, the stitching does not go through the knit. So you'll notice we have our first diagonal stitch there. Now I'm going to come down here and poke my needle through there. Oops. and up and over. Like I've said, the first stitches are usually the most awkward, so it looks really weird right now, but as we continue, it'll start to look normal. Okay, so now up and over. You'll see we're starting to build up here, so let's do a few more. Up, over. Nice. So we'll just keep this going to the top and we will reconvene once that is done. Okay, so first side of the rise complete. And now we are going to do the other side. So it's the same process, just stitching from here to almost the top. We want to leave a little space here because later on we're going to fold it down to make the waistband. So it looks cleaner when we do it like this. And I'll get to those details later, but just leave about an inch here. And same on this side. We're going to embroider all the way to about 1 inch left. Okay, so we have embroidered the inseam and the rise on both sides. And we've left about an inch here because this next step, we are going to fold it over just like that, and you can pin it down if you want, but not necessary. I haven't used pins this whole time. So yeah, it should be about 1/2 inch here. And what you're gonna wanna do is start like that. And now this is a little bit different than what we've been doing before. We will be going from this piece to this piece. And make sure to leave some space here because this is where we are going to thread the waist tie. So all we're trying to do is create that tubular waistband right now. So diagonally first, I do want to secure this a bit, so why don't we do that first? Tie little knots just like that. Okay, so let's continue here. Just crisscross on over. Just like that. So on and so forth. And we'll just do this all the way around the waistband until we end up over here. Cute. Okay, so I'll touch base in a bit. I'm gonna continue and I should come back and finish on this side. We are going to embroider the cuff on these. And so what I have found is that the less you have in the inseam, the more flattering it fits. So I'm going to take this end here and match it pretty much to the center of the crotch here. And, you know, that's what I'm going to guide. I'm going to use as a guide to embroider the cuff all the way around. And so this will be similar to the top or the waistband, where we are going to embroider from this end onto this end, so on and so forth. So let's get started. So I'm going to come from the inside here. Just like that. And I'll go across, just like that. And I'm gonna flip it inside here because I wanna tie this into a knot so that it's secure. Just like that. Okay, so we see the first stitch there. And then we'll poke it through over here. Just like that. So on and so forth, as you already know. So just like that. I'm going to continue all the way around, and then we will reconvene to thread the waistband into the waist, or the waist tie into the waistband. Okay, so we are on our final step here, which is to thread the waist tie through the waistband. So as you can see here, I've already kind of created these two little holes about 1/2 inch from the center. And the way that I did that was just, you know, just kind of did that with the safety pin, or if it's easier to do it with the with the needle, you know, you can kind of separate the stitching there, but once you stick the safety pin through, it's a little hard to get it back out again. But anyway, so I separated some of the stitching there. And now I'm just going to feed it through. And the initial bit is a little bit of a finesse, but once you do that, then you just kind of keep smushing it through and take it all the way around to the other side. So I'm going to do that, and then we will reconvene at the end. Okay, so I kind of completed this before I remembered to record it, but basically I fed it all the way through, and then I just popped it out on the other side here. It's about a 1/2 inch. So there you go. And then voila, you are done with your bikini bottom.